and it's priced at around 149 per year for students. While Spotify actually charges you 59 per month for students for their subscription. Now, here's the key difference. What's the difference between those two? Though both are music streaming apps, still one is charging so much and one is charging so less. Why is there a difference? That's because of the user experience. Ghana Plus can just simply can't beat the user experience and feel of Spotify. That's why they charge more. And this is the main reason why potential recruiters will actually tend to prefer you more if you have a good eye for the design or if your code actually reflects some design. And trust me on this one. If your app takes more than 7 seconds, well, actually, in the last webinar, Mr. Vrijra Sir actually told us if it takes about 4 seconds. I will correct myself on this one. If it takes more than 4 seconds to load, no one is going to use it. Like people don't tend to visit Facebook if it takes so much time. So that's why UI UX matters. And in today's webinar, we will be talking about these fundamentals. And I won't go into explaining these terminologies or something, but when we will be doing the designs in Adobe XD, I will go through all these while covering the design. First of all, we have visual hierarchy, contrast ratios, white spacing, consistency, typography, and asset selection. Don't get confused about all these things. We will surely cover them up later on. Next up, we have prototyping tools. Actually, to create all these designs, we use different tools. You can actually create these designs even in Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator if you have used those before. But they are not so much designer friendly for rapidly creating or prototyping new designs. That's why we actually used these special softwares called prototyping tools or rapid prototyping tools. Some of the examples are Adobe XD, Figma, and there are more like Sketch or some other. But for this webinar, actually, we will be focused on Adobe XD. You can also actually use Figma right in the browser without any setup or anything. But I personally prefer Adobe XD because you can say in its name it has XD in its name, which is a fun code, and I like that. So further along now, if you like to follow along with me while I'm doing all those design stuff, make sure you have installed Adobe XD on your system, and you can actually visit this link and download all the stuff as a zip. We will be sharing that in the chat. I will just pause for a minute or two so that they can share the link. Also, do let me know if my speed is okay or all those things.
Ishan, am I audible to you?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. So, guys, if you haven't installed Adobe XD, it's fine. No worries. It's just if you have it, and if you want to just follow his steps, what he's doing just to do practically, then you can just go to the link and you can download the assets he is providing. And instead, if you don't want to, if you just want to stick here and just learn, and later on just do it, so you don't have to just rush to download Adobe XD right now. So you can just continue watching and then just implement later.
Oh, sorry guys. Actually, this repository is private for now. Let me just change that for a minute. You might not be able to check that out. Just give me a second.
Password.
Oh, it's not a password. Don't worry. Yeah, you should be able to visit this repository now.
And there is a suggestion that you are fast, so you should go slow.
Oh, okay, sure. I will slow things down. Let me know in the chat once you have opened this link. And let me know if you are able to open this link actually. Okay, I think most of you must have opened this link by now. Now, all you have to do is just click this code button here and download it as a zip. Once that's, you can just save it here. Let's see. Once that is done, okay, my internet's lagging up because I'm on a video call. Just give it a second. Actually, I already have this repository. I don't even need to download. Let me just share that with you. Yeah, once you download that and extract that zip file, you will get something like this. Firstly, before opening this XT file, this is the main design file. Before opening this, I would like you all to please open this fonts folder. And in this, I have downloaded two typeface fonts for you to follow along, and it will be much easier for you in the next session, like in the next part of the session. Let me know when you are here in the chat. And sorry if I'm going too fast. I will just try to slow things down a little bit.
Ishan, they are asking just to repeat your steps, like how to download it and whatever they need.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
repeat that.
All you have to do is just visit the link that I shared here. This one, bit.ly/tw-uiux. Yes, Nitkarsh, you can also clone this repository if you know that. Once you're done with that, you would just have to visit this page. It will open up this page here, and actually I have all these instructions written here, but still you can just clone it if you know that, or you can just download the zip here. Click this green button code and click download zip. Save that file, and once that file is open, okay, Bhavesh, I will try to do that. Also, I'm not sir. You can call me Blue or something. You can just extract the zip. Actually, let me just move it to my desktop. Okay, I will need to dismiss this thing. Yeah, now it's on my desktop. You can just right click it if you have WinRAR or Windows Explorer, or you can just open it with Windows Explorer. There must be an extract button here. You can just extract it. Once that's done, you can open the folder and you will get something like this. Let me know if you guys have reached here. Okay, I hope you all must have been done by that, must have completed that. Now let's proceed further and let's continue. All you have to do is open this fonts folder. Just a minute. Okay, sure, Kamulika, I can wait. No, Saurabh, you don't need to open the initial design for now. I will tell you about that. Actually, the zip file is around 9.5 megabytes, guys. Please get some better internet connection. Let me know once everyone has downloaded the zip files. Okay, cool. Looks like everyone has downloaded. Yes, Kamalika, after downloading the file, you have to actually extract the zip folder. You can just double click it in Windows Explorer if you don't have WinRAR, or you can just extract it. I hope everyone is ready with that. So, actually, we are also constrained with time. So, let's just proceed further. Uh, Once you have done all those steps, you can just open this fonts folder, and there are these are the two typefaces that I will be using throughout all my designs. So, it will be good if you can all install these things. First of all, let's just open this Montserrat folder. You can just select all of these and right click anyone and click install button here. I have already installed these, so it is showing this warning, but it shouldn't happen with you. So let's just wait. And once we are done with this Montserrat font, we can actually move on to the next one. All the steps are the same, guys. You just have to select all of them. Click install button here and install all of those. I will just wait for a minute, pause for a minute, so that all of you can follow along. I hope all of you are done with that. So now let's just finally open this initial design.xv file. You can just double click it to open it. No hard thing. I have already actually opened this one here. So once you open that, you will see something like this. Okay, you can actually follow those steps, and I will just continue with my presentation. Yeah. So once you're set up and done with all of that, okay, Harshit Sharma, actually, you can just try opening your Adobe XD first, and after that, you can click on File tab and open that file. It should skip the Adobe XD update warning. Okay, moving on. If however you are not able to follow along, or if there are any issues with the Adobe XD or something, you can just sit back and relax and grab some cold drinks, a bunch of nachos or popcorns, and enjoy the show. So, without further ado, let's just start. Let me just kill this presentation. Yep. Let me know if my screen is visible. So, this is the initial design, and I know it looks ugly and this is somewhat pathetic, but please don't leave yet. I will be actually showing you how to convert this, take this design and convert it into something like this. And learn the basic fundamental using the basic fundamentals of user interfaces, UI and UX. Okay, Raghav, we can actually try that. We can share the recording, maybe. I will look into that after the session. Okay, so let's just first explore this design or how this looks. Yeshang Bhaiya, are you there?
Yes, Ishan.
Yeah.
I'm
Let's assume that you are. Let's assume I have created this website and you are a visitor. Can you tell me about your opinion? Like, what do you think about this page? If you are a visitor and visiting this website for the first time, let me know your thoughts.
When I see like the first time, I just think like this red color is too bright and there's just into my eyes, and I can't actually read the text out there. And if I just see, I can see like those nav bar is not properly aligned and it doesn't look that good. And if I just come to this page and if I just have to focus somewhere, I can just my eyes is just getting confused like where to see, like should I go for this image or I should see some nav bar or the text. Like it's kind of confusing and not that suitable for my eyes, especially the color. So I think
Yeah.
that nav bar color should be fixed at least.
Okay. What about this image and these this section, these feature
Yeah,
and these cards?
yeah, okay. For the image section, I guess like image is too short, and my main focus is going for like the button because after the text, this image is really looking like really small, and I can't actually focus and think of something. And for the bottom section, and that you were telling me, can you just scroll a bit?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. For this section, first of all, the alignment. I can see like there is an issue with alignment, and that's looking really weird for me. And for the logos, like this is not something like the first logo is looking cool by itself. The second logo and the first logo doesn't have to do anything with them, and that looks really weird because there should be a symmetry. I guess that's my perspective, and I feel like these images or logos aren't selected properly by the graphic team. That I can say if I am a consumer website.
Okay. I agree with all that. What about this contact section?
Okay, so this is like really basic, and I don't like have anything. It's just like simple, and I don't think like I'll ever just contact to this page because this is just a input box, and the designer doesn't take any, just take any issue, and he just put that box here. So I think like this should have some basic CSS or basic designing so that it will be easy for me to just put and just it should just grab my attention. Yeah, I just need to contact them or if I have any question. So it's a bit of
Yes.
like on
Basically,
our
it's
offside.
just not so attractive and not so pleasing to the eye. In fact, actually, you
Yeah,
have to. It actually puts some strain on the eye, especially this color scheme, right?
correct. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now, let me know your thoughts about what do you think about this one. This is what I'm planning to create today, but I'm not really sure if we will create exactly the same, but we will try to figure out. You
Okay,
should
so
let
first
me
of all,
your thoughts.
yeah. So first of all, looking at this, like this looks really more pleasing to my eyes, and the things are really clear. Like what this website is all about. Like discover the world. I have a good picture, and this is soothing. And I guess now my eyes are sorted. Like first I look at the picture, then if I just go to left to see, that's first thing I can see the logo. Then I can just see the buttons. I have features. So basically, it's just more pleasing to my eyes, and yeah, like a lot better than the previous one.
Okay, let me just scroll down and let me know this difference.
Okay, yeah, exactly what I was talking about. Like this is more optimal and the good positioning of the data and the logos. This looks really soothing to eyes, and actually, I can just if I just try to read something, and it's actually I can read it.
Yeah. So I think it's a similar experience in the contact section also, right?
Yeah, like for this, I can just actually consider to contact you if I just have to. And the footer is also looking cool. So this is more optimal and good to watch website for me at least.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I think actually we took so much time. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Yushnagvia. Now let's just focus on this design. I will actually just create a quickly use press Control plus D to create a copy of this. You can also do that. Yeah, and we will have a side by side comparison of how things are changing. And let's just jump right in. Okay, first of all, let's see this navbar area. Let's just focus on this red area here. Now, the first thing, I'm not sure if you can see clearly. Actually, this destinations thing. Actually, this is a logo or a title for a company. Let's assume you are trying to make some travel website, and you can actually clearly see it's not aligned. Let me actually just put a. Let me just actually take a guide here, and you can see it is not well aligned. It is not centered. While on here in these nav items, you can see they are clearly aligned in a perfectly centered line for the vertical alignment. So the first thing that I would like to fix is center align this one. Okay, and you can see this actually looks way better, the alignment. Now, a second thing I would like to fix in here is this color actually. Okay, Borgi, actually, I think some of the panelists can share that. Can someone please share the link in the panel, in the chat section? Okay, so when we focus on this design, this red color and this black, you can actually there's a plugin called a Stark here. You can actually just click here in the plugin section, and you can search for Stark. We will be needing. I'm actually using this plugin to demonstrate the things. You can also install this, and if you don't even actually need it that much, but I'm just doing it for a demo purpose. And the other plugin that I will actually recommend you to install is this icons for design. It comes really handy actually. Let me just see. Yeah, this one. You can install this if you can, but if you're not able to install this for now, you can just leave it the way it is. That's totally okay. Let's just not take much time on that. Now, if I just select two of these, this text and this container area, let me just let me just use this plugin and check the contrast. Now you can see the contrast ratios between these two elements, these two colors. Actually, contrast ratios are nothing but basically the difference between the two colors, that like the brightness of two colors, the lightness and the darkness. So you can see here AA and triple A. It's actually the recommended one for the WCAG guidelines. These are actually the web accessibility guidelines. You can search on them. Uh, I will actually just let me just open Mozilla. You can search on them and read them here, but actually no one does that. Even I don't read that. Still, these are actually based on the web content accessibility guidelines, and they recommend you to have a minimum ratio of 7:1 to get the AAA rating. While this ratio, we can clearly see it's 5.25. So what I would like to do to fix this is just take this navbar area and make it transparent or white. You can already see it looks way better than before. Let me just actually compare that. Can you compare these two things? Which looks more pleasing and soothing to the eye? Like there are two types of decisions: objective and subjective. Objective is like the right way to do it, and subjective is what you think. Like subjective, they can be changed or tangled with. So you can clearly see this navbar actually looks way better than that. Now let's focus more on the navbar area. You can see these underlined and ugly colors, ugly nav items. I would strongly recommend you please not do this. I will just remove this underline here, and also I will just turn these items to black for now. Okay, so they don't look so much popping up. They don't just pop up too much and take unnecessary attention. That's something in visual hierarchy. We will see about that later. Now, you can actually clearly see like there's this margin here. If I take a guide here, you can see there's a margin in the left side for the logo, and there's no margin here. It's just so fixed to here. So what I will do is just let's just set a custom margin. I will take this guide and let's say I will set a margin for 75 pixels here, and I will take another guide and set a margin of 75 pixels from here as well. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So what this margin? Actually, these margins actually define help to define a layout for your web page. Always ensure that all of the content of your website, all these cards, all the text is actually inside this margin for a better understanding, better readability on desktops. Let me know if I'm going too fast. Actually, is everyone able to catch up with me right now?
Yeah, Ishan.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Nishka. Thanks, Saurabh. Okay, let's proceed. Now you can clearly see like there's visually no padding between these. Like there is some in home and services and about, but it's so much scattered and it's just not so feasible. So what we can do is just take this here, take all of these away. We will keep the contact there at our bottom margin, and let me just set some padding. Let's say we are using some. Let's say we give a padding of 32 pixels here. You can see the number, and 32 pixels to this too. We will just make give equal padding to all of these, and you can clearly see this layout actually looks way better. Let me just get rid of these. Yeah, now you can clearly see the difference between the nav bar. Now one more thing, actually, have you noticed these fonts? See, these look so much sharp and not so great on the websites. Actually, these are actually Arial fonts, if you can see here. Yeah. So actually, this Arial font was introduced like back in 2004 or something, to be honest. And this is mostly used on old websites. Please don't use these on modern websites. You can actually use some sans serif fonts. Sans serif is another family for those who don't know about fonts. Sans serif is basically another family or another type of fonts which actually have more smoother edges and all those modern features. So remember the fonts we installed earlier, these Montserrat and Poppins. We can actually use these here. So I will just type Poppins here, and yes, if you have installed that, you will be able to see this here. I will also quickly change the font of all these nav items here. You can clearly see the difference. It looks way better. Now another thing, when let's say when you visit this website for the first time, let me just show this. Yeah. What is the thing that you focus on first? Like your eyes will just fall on this discover the world thing for the first time. Now that's called visual hierarchy, and it is a psychological effect. Like the things which are big and bold will get more importance, obviously, and user will tend to see there. We don't want that. Actually, we want to put some emphasis on our logo as well, so that whenever someone visits our website, they can actually know what our website is about, what's our company, what are our beliefs or something. So what we can do is actually just make this bold. I will just increase the size a little bit first. Let's say 35, and I can just make this bold or semi bold. I can just make this semi bold. Okay, I'm not able to make this. Okay, why is this happening? Okay, looks like there's some issue with my font family for some reason. Just give me a minute, guys. Let me actually just restart this design. I think actually I installed the fonts again. That's why it's giving an issue. Let me just restart it. No worries. Okay, now it's fixed, and sorry about that. Now we can actually use bold here. I guess we should be able to. Yes, finally, thank God. Okay, now let me just center this like before and have a padding, have a margin of 75 pixels. 70, 73. Let's me just yes. Okay, perfect. 75, and it's centered. Now, now you can actually clearly see when you visit the website for the first time, your eye does look into this because this is bold, and we want the user to experience that, to look at our logo first when visiting our website. The next thing is actually we also about user experience. We also want the user to have an indication about which page they are on. Like this navbar gives no indication if I'm on home, services, about, or contact. That's not good. So what we can do is just actually just slightly bold it. let's just medium. Yeah, this looks more pleasing, and actually it gives a visual indication about which page the user is on currently. Now you can clearly see the difference between the before and after in just the navbar section. You can actually tell by yourself which one looks better, this one or that, or the one which we made right now. See, you can clearly see the difference. Okay, so now we are done with the navbar area. Let's just move on to this hero area with Taj Mahal. See, the main thing about this layout is there's nothing wrong with it, but actually, it feels like it's made more for mobiles. Like in mobiles, everything is centered and vertically lined. But there's so much white space here. Let me actually just take a container to show you. Yeah, there's just so much white space here. Like this space you can see, and this space you can see. This just now white space is the white space doesn't mean like there has to be a white background, but if there's any space between any unused space between that's between two elements, it's called white space. Now you can clearly see this is there's so much white space, and we are not using the desktop area properly. So one thing that we can do is actually place this image here for a second, and let's take this down here. Also, again, as I told you about the font, you can see the font for this logo is Poppins, and this is Arial. We can use another font. Actually, I will use Montserrat just for the sake of it. Okay, Montserrat is not installed. I'll use Poppins for now. God, let's just make it bold, and let's just increase the case. Okay, and actually this is looking so much bold. Yeah, semi-bold works fine. Let me also add some horizontal spacing, letter spacing here. Okay, you can clearly see the difference here. Also, let's just use Montserrat. And like this is just so big text. Let me just reduce that. Okay, to the center. And let me now. Actually, the text is just so much crowded here. It's looking so crowded. It's like not so pleasing to the eye. So we can just increase the spacing between. Yeah, this looks good. Or we can actually, let me just set 48. Yeah, this looks way better than before. And let's just move this button and have it somewhat here. This is the standard convention. Actually, people like to do that. Yeah, this looks nice. Also, actually, you can, if you want, you can actually take this text and make it so much big. That's also a thing. Well, like, I mean, not this much, but you can make it this much big. People do like that sometimes. Some designers do that, but it's totally up to you. For now, for the standard convention, we will just make the text like this. You can actually increase this to somewhat like this, so that like increase it till this area, till the center. And let me just increase the font size. Okay, now this is already looking way better than it looked here, this layout, because it looks like actually you are using the spacing correctly. Now if we want, let's focus on this button later on. Let's just focus on this image for now. Now you can have this image here just like this, and it looks totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's totally your subjective opinion. But for me, I think it just doesn't fit this whole thing. Like I would like to have a background here like I would just like to have a background image. We can just actually use this image as a background, but I but that just won't look so much good. And I would say you need to actually use some better assets for all these. So we what we will do is just delete this, and let's just grab some cool looking image for our background. You can use visit unsplash.com or Pexels for free stock images. Let's just search for something like travel, and you can actually set the color here. like I want the background image to have some white color in it so that it matches with the rest of my design. So what we can do is select color from here and choose the white color so that it has white tones. And let's just set the orientation to horizontal. Okay. Sorry for my slow internet connection. I think it's because of the video call. Let's just search for something that looks good. Mm, you can search for images here. You might be able to find something. Actually, I found found one of the images from pixels.com. You can see that in the assets in the images folder in the repository that you have downloaded. I found this image in the from Pixels itself, just on this page. You can also search for it, but for the sake of time, because of time constraints, we will just use this one. Now, what we can do is actually create a rectangular box for now. Actually, you are not able to see that, so I can just change the color. Yeah, and in this box, in this container, we will actually place our image. Let's just go to the layers so that we can actually see all those content. We don't want the image to cover everything. So what we can do is take this and move it down just like this. See, I'm actually placing this on the second last layer. Okay, this looks good. I actually was remove. Let me just remove that. But we will be placing our image here. Now what you can do is select this container, open the folder, okay, and drag and drop this image and just do it just like this. You can clearly see it looks way better than before, but we can actually just adjust the image a little bit more. Yeah, just double click on it and do a little more. Yeah, just like this. Also, actually this looks totally fine to me for now, but I will actually like to have some more separation between these two, on the left side, on the right side. So what I can do is just add a linear gradient on top of it. Let me just create a rectangle,
So,
or let me just
Ishan, sorry to interrupt, but I guess people are stuck here. They actually want to just go back to the layering thing and how to insert the image. So people can just do the last step again so that they
yeah,
can
sure.
just.
Let me just move that. Okay, so here's where we were, and let's just create a new rectangular. You can just press R on your keyboard or select this rectangle tool from here. Let's just create a rectangle that fills this entire area. Once you're done with that, just for visual representation, I will be changing this color. You don't need to do this. Now what you need to do is press V on your keyboard either, or just click on the select tool from here. Once you're done with that, make sure that you have selected this layer and click on here. Just press Ctrl Y on your keyboard or click this layers icon here. You can select this rectangle. This rectangle's it's named rectangle 17 here. It might have some different name on your laptop, on your system. You can just drag this down, down, and down till you find this rectangle one and just drop it there. That's it. Let me know if once you're done with that, so that we can move to the image section. You can write it in the chat if you're still stuck. Okay, I think everyone is here for now. Everyone is on the same page. So what we can do is actually just open the folder that I asked you to download before. In that, there's an images folder. You can open that folder, select this image, drag it, and just drop it there in the container. Make sure you have selected the container area before. Let me actually do that again. Select this container, go to the folder, drag and drop, just like that. It's easy. Let me know if you are done with that. Are we all on the same page? Everyone is done with this.
Yes, Ishan, you can continue.
Okay. So what we can do is just now we can just align this image a little bit because I think there should be some separation between the two. You can just double click this container and just align this the way you want. Actually, I want this top tree to actually align with this area. Yeah. So now we are done with that. Now it is looking fairly good as compared to what we had earlier on. But I did you notice something? In the start of this design, in the initial stage, I actually asked all of you to have your content laid out with this design guide, this same margin on the left and the right. But this, all these things like discover the world, this hero text does not look so much aligned. So what we will do is just align this here with this design guide. Just make sure that all of them are 75 pixels from the left side. They have the same margin. Okay, this is looking way better than before. Obviously, you can see for the hero section. But still, I would like to actually have some separation between the left area and the right area, especially down here, if you can see. So what I will do is just add a linear gradient on top of it. You can just select this image, press Ctrl plus D on your keyboard to create a copy of it. You can actually see this in the layers. Let me actually just remove that. Yeah, you can see once I've selected that, you can see this hero image here. There's just one hero image for now, hero element. Let's just press Ctrl D, and for Mac users, you can actually press Command plus D. That will do the same job. And you can see this hero thing here. Let me, yeah. So what we can do is now there are two layers. You can actually see. Let me actually move this. You can see there's an image on the bottom, and on top of that we have another element with the same image, another container. What we can do is actually just add a linear gradient in it. If I fill it with white color, you can clearly see nothing. It's because it's overlaid on the top. In the fill button here, you can click here, select this solid color or this drop down arrow, select linear gradient from here. Now you will get this line. Let's actually first of all move this from here. Let's just set the initial position and set the final position to here. I want to have a gradient, but this is looking black and this is just covering everything. So what we can do is select this endpoint and set its opacity to 0. Now you can see it has created a transition. Also, we need to change the color. Obviously, it is this color. We can turn it white, and you can see this transition that you can see for now. Let me actually just yeah, hide that. This light effect that is here, which is actually helping us to create.
Ishan.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
is can you please repeat the last step? Shagun is asking.
About the linear gradient, right?
Yeah,
He has.
repeat that step. Yeah, repeat that step.
Yeah, okay. Just a minute. I have deleted all that. Now, what we can do is, as I was saying before, you can just select this image area, this image from here. Make sure you are selecting this rectangle. There might be a name with rectangle out there, but for me, it's hero. Select this, press Ctrl plus D if you are on Windows, or Command plus D if you are on Mac to create a copy of it, just like this. Now you can see there are two elements with the same name. Now, what that copy has done is it has actually created two elements, and this is just an overlay. In CSS, we use the Z index property to do all this. You can actually refer to documentation from there. It's the same concept. So there is a layer on top of it, just an overlay layer. what we can do is just add a gradient to this layer to achieve some effect on the downwards layer. Let me actually just let's see. Oh, okay, what's happening? Sorry, I actually, it looks like I accidentally moved my layer. Okay, let me just repeat that. Sorry, I actually accidentally undid that layer. You can see there's this layer. I pressed Command D and selected this layer. Now we can just use the fill button, use a linear gradient on top. Are you able to catch up with me, guys? For those of you who are not able to do that, let's just try that again. Select this, click on this fill, and click solid color and drop down here. Select linear gradient. Why is this not happening? Looks like I made some mistake. Let's see. Yes, select this linear gradient, and now you can set the initial position to the here, the top left corner, and the final position for the gradient to here. Now what you can do is just change this color for the gradient to this and set its opacity to 0 to get that light effect on here. I'm not sure if you are able to see this slight effect. Let me actually just hide this layer for now. You can see here in this area there's some light reflection here. Nishkarsh, actually what you can do is actually create a group of these and export these as an asset. You can just uh, select this and export this. Click on this selected button to export this later on and use that in your web design while coding. Yeah. Okay. So now you can see we are mostly done with the hero section, but we still have to figure out this button. This just looks terrible. Like it kills the vibe of this whole design. So what we can do is let's just I can just pick a color from the image itself. Let me just pick something from here. Okay, this looks too bright. Let me just set some color. Okay, now this color is looking good. Now this is dark color, and to my eye it does not look so pleasing as we saw before. So what I will do is just make this text white instead, and also change its font obviously to Poppins. Yeah, Poppins is kind of my favorite font. Sorry if I'm overusing that. Okay, so also we can actually just change the border to this one and set its size to 2. I know the border is same color, but we will be using it for the other button, so it will come handy later on. Now, what I think is like this button is just too large for the text it's containing, and there's just too much padding. So what we can do is just decrease its size. You can hold down the Alt key on your keyboard, select this from here, and decrease its size. Also, let's just decrease its height a little bit. Yeah, now this looks good. Let's just position it to our margin. Yeah, that was the 75 margin, and let's just position it here. Okay, it's looking way better now. You can see now we can also edit. Actually, this looks so much flat, so what we can do is add some shadows to it. You can just select the rectangular area and click this shadow button here to add some shadows. Let's set in X offset for 3, and also let's just add some roundedness. Yes, now this looks way better than before. Yes. Now, whenever let's see this page in action. Now, whenever you visit this website, you will let's see. Let's see. Whenever a user visits this website, his first attention would be this area: discover the world. and we want the user to see that because it is actually so big text and bold text, so the user will tend to see here. Okay, for those of you who are asking about if I'm using a free version of the Adobe XD, yes, this is a free version, and there's no trial version in Adobe XD. There are actually two versions: a pro version and a free version. The free version does not include any trial; it's free for everyone, but it does not have some advanced features like collaboration or others. Don't worry if you download Adobe XD, the free version. It's totally okay. I'm also using the free version.
And one more guy thing, Ishan. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
But actually, guys, like a lot of people are asking like Adobe XD, Figma, how they gonna convert in HTML, CSS. So like, guys, I'll just gonna tell you like briefly. So basically, what Ishan is trying to tell you guys, like he's explaining all of this, like what he thinks should be, guys. So if you are doing web development, right? So it's so difficult to choose your UI of your website, like how your website should look. You know, you have data, you have everything, but you don't know how it should look. So what Ishan is trying to explain is you just have to create this, we call this mock-up, so that you can just create 3 4 mock-ups, so that if you are working in a company, you can just go to the web designer or web developer, you can just ask them like, these are my mock-ups, you can just try this. For say, Ishan, can you just close this and open that window where you have parallelly opened both of them?
this
Yeah,
one.
okay. Yeah, just zoom out.
Yeah,
Okay, so see, uh, in the left, this is something if you just know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you just know that you have to make a website. So this is something you will just, if you just start coding your website, this is something you will get because you don't have a visual thing to understand and to compare like what you have to actually code. But when you actually code, when you actually have a mockup like this in Adobe XD, then later on when you are creating a website, then you can actually use these things. Like you can actually see this if navbar is fitting or what you need to fix in your CSS to make this navbar look like same of the mockup. So basically, what he's trying to explain you the advantages of making UI UX mockups, so that later on whenever you are creating some websites, it's handy for you, right, Ishan?
yes, exactly.
Yeah. So that's what he's trying to explain. This is not an actual replacement of HTML, CSS, guys. So whosoever is like asking like what actually is going. So this is just an example to create a mockup. And yeah, people are asking for the PPT and recording. You guys will get both. Don't worry about that. As soon as we get the link for the recording, you guys will.
Prototyping tools, and both of them are mostly same. You can use either of those. Figma actually mostly works in web browsers. You don't need to install or download anything. But actually, I personally prefer Adobe XD for its prototyping features as compared to Figma. But if it's up to you, but if it's totally up to your personal choice, you can either go for Figma or this. They work complete. They work somewhat similar to each other. Now, Bhavesh is asking me about HTML and CSS, uh, and I would like to be clear upon that. No, I'm not actually teaching how to create this using HTML and CSS. We can actually do that later on in some other webinar. I will put that on a list. And what I'm actually what I'm trying to tell you is how to create a design, how to think about designs. Like if you know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, whenever like when I started learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all I did was I actually created pages like these. And these pages are not created using HTML, CSS, Bhavesh. I create these the same way that I'm creating these things using containers and text and all these widgets in Adobe XD. This is not at all related to HTML or CSS. What I'm trying to tell you is how to think about design and how to think about user experiences. You can take away these things from, because you can learn about you can actually learn about all these UX and UI things in books. You actually need to have some practical knowledge about it. You like when you visit some website, you can admire that and learn a few things from there. That's what I'm trying to teach you today. You can take inspiration from this and create your and when actually you move to production and actual companies in the real world, they first create these mockups, these designs, and then they tend to work on development and all those other coding stuff. For this webinar, I'm just telling you about how to design things, and we can move on to the coding later. This does not have anything to do with CSS for now. I hope I made myself clear on that.
Yeah, Ishan. And one more thing, guys. So basically, let me just give you a live example. So first, say I am a client and I am referring to Ishan for, like, Ishan is doing freelancing, and I have a company and I actually want to Ishan to have create my website, right? So if Ishan will start creating a website and then I don't like it, then that's a really tough for Ishan, right? Because he coded all of it and then I don't like it. So just to get over it, what we can do is we can create mockups here. These mockups can like connect pages as well. Like Ishan can show you maybe, and Ishan will show you some animations later as well. So basically, what he'll do is he'll just create a mockup and he'll send me like, this is something your website will look like. Do you want any changes? Then if I say yeah, I just need these changes, then he can just do it in mockup. Then when I just finally say yeah, this is something I really need, then he can actually go and create that website so that the code is limited now. Now he don't have to change the code. So that's why UI is really important. If even if you mostly if you are just want to be a freelancer, or if you want earning through freelancing, so this is really important. And I totally believe like Ishan won so many competitions and so many awards, right? So the main thing what I think is like he's actually great at UI. Like he actually converted that, you can see that website into this, and that's really need a vision. And that's what I think you should learn from this is like, you don't he's not teaching you HTML CSS. He's actually teaching you how you should think of a good website, like what you actually want to see and what actually the user will want, right, Ishan? So just I just want to like go you can just go to the next functions, like scroll, and you can just start with it.
Yeah, sure.
Just a second, Ishan, like there is one more question. When I'm building
Mhm.
a complete website, what is the best practice to ensure that uniformity in style in the whole website? Yeah, Ishan is going to talk about that only in the next part.
Yes,
Nicholas,
we have to talk about consistency, don't worry. Also, actually, if you are so much concerned about HTML and CSS, you can actually use some plugins. There are some plugins. I don't remember the name exactly. You can search here. They will take up this XT mockup and convert that into HTML and CSS design. You can search on that later on, but that's not the focus for this session. Now, we are mostly done with our hero section. And now let's just quickly move on to the feature section. We are constrained with time actually. We don't have much time left, so I will just move things quickly and speed up somewhat. Okay, first of all, we are done with the hero section. You can see that clear difference between this. Now we want to have some same consistent experience throughout our website. This does not like this hero section looks so modern while this looks so ugly and pathetic. So what we can do is actually just let me just get rid of this section for now. I will just drop all of these things here. Don't worry, I've not forgotten those. I'll just select the rectangle tool from here and create a rectangle for the features. Even though you can actually use the same layout as you did before, but I would like to make some changes. Okay, have a somewhat darker shade as compared to white. Yeah, this works. Okay, we can have this design and we can have this container, and this works for the section. For the feature section, we are going to use this. Now, when you visit this page, this section especially, the user doesn't know what are all these things, especially all these icons. Like they look so much different. This looks like a flat icon. This looks like there's just so much borders here, while this looks completely black. Like there's nothing consistent about these icons. Also, user doesn't know which section this is about. So what we can do is actually just add some text here, some uh, section title. Okay, it's white, so you're not able to see it. Let me just change its color to the color, this color that we used before, or let me just change this color to black. Let We can just increase the size. Yeah, and let's just add some subtext, subheading line here so that it looks more catchy. Yes, just like this. Okay, now here's our feature section. Now, what we have these three cards, right? What I want to do with them is somewhat different. We will just create one card quickly because we don't have much time. Also, I will just change the font first of all. Yeah. Okay. So, what remember I told you guys about this extension called Icons for Design. You can actually use this extension to get the icons that you desire. You can actually say this. You don't need to do that. Let's say I want an icon for airplane. Yes, I got that because it's a travel website. We can use somewhat like that. And for this, actually, we can use something like money. Okay, we got that icon. And for customer satisfaction, let's say this is customer satisfaction. We can use people or something. You can search for all these. Okay, this looks good. Now, first of all, let's have these three icons here. Let me actually just take these. Yeah. Now, first of all, we need to make sure that all of these icons look consistent. You can see this icon looks big, this looks small, and this looks somewhat more small or something. So, what we can do is select all three of these, and let's just use similar height. I will use 128. Oh, okay, sorry. You first need to lock all these aspect ratios so they don't stretch up. Yeah. Now let's just set something like, oh, okay, 128. Oh, okay, sorry, this responsive resize button was on. You need to make sure to not do that. Okay, let's just take this icon, and now what I want to do is have a title here on the top that describes what this feature is actually. So let me just take this, and let's say uh, travel anywhere. You can come up with some catchy lines or something like that. Okay, I have this. Again, remember the design guidelines. 75 margin. Let's just add a little bit more padding here. Okay, perfect. This looks way better than before. And yeah, what we can do is, other thing we can do is just actually just highlight this icon with the color that we used before so that it feels more consistent. And don't worry about the alignment, guys. I will fix that. Okay, now what we can do, actually, I think this looks so much big. Let's just reduce that. Yeah, I think that looks okay to my eyes for now. You can just select all of these and press Ctrl plus G to group these, or just right click and group all of these. Now, Adobe XD has this very handy feature called Repeat Grid. You can use this to create repeated grids, same thing. Okay, let's say we want it till here, and we can actually adjust the margin. Let's have a zero margin here to ensure. Okay, let me just decrease this height. Sorry, this width. Yeah, this looks perfect to me. Like not perfect, but okayish for now. We are on time constraint. Yes, what I'm going to do is just ungroup all of these. this button on the top right and group, and we have three different layouts of the same thing. You can actually we can just actually move all of these above. Yes, now let's just change these icons over here. Grab this, delete that icon, sorry, and this one instead. Now we can see, check the height of this one. It has a height of 57. We will try to make something like that. 57. Oh, sorry, height 57. Yes, and let's fill it with the same color that we used before. Change the text a little bit, less cost. Yes, and again for this last one, remember we had a height of 57. Okay, first of all, turn off this responsive resize. It will just mess up with your images. Okay, and add select the fill color again. Customer satisfaction. Okay, let's just try. Yeah, this looks good to me. Pretty good to me. Like actually, I can say pretty improved from before one, from the previous one actually. Yes, let me just lay this out. Now, and also let me delete all these. Now you can see the difference in the sections. I know actually we can change the text a little bit and add some more alignment, but we are limited on time. But still, you can actually get a basic crux of these drastic differences between the two. Like on this page, when you visit this for the first time, you won't be able to actually even grasp anything. So what we can do is actually, sorry, actually, okay, Nishkarsh, we will talk about that also if the time allows. Okay, you can see differences here in this one. Now let's just move on to the last section. We have contact us. Actually, we also have a footer section, but let's just forget that. Okay. What we can do is just delete this contact us, like to have consistency and a similar thing. Let's get connected. Let's get connected, or you can say actually let's get in touch. Let's message, like whatever you want. Have some text here. This just looks too much large. Yeah, this works. And also you can see, like I would actually recommend you to never use input boxes with these borders. Like I've seen people using just way too many borders on their web pages or websites. These look out of trend, so like these look so much out of trend. They are not so trendy and looks a little bit old, not so modern. What we can do is just get rid of these borders first of all. Oh, okay, it's a white container, so you won't be able to see. Let me just give it some another shade, and I will just delete all these for now. We will just create one input component, and and after that we can use another thing. Let's just have a name field here and here. Now, please take into consideration that we are planning all these things with our design guide, like from the start. Okay, and now what I would like to have is just like first of all, let me change this font. Now, what I would like to have is just have a outline border on just on the bottom, so that the user can feel. Let me actually just use the rectangular. tool here. You can just press R on keyboard, create a rectangle. Let me just set the height to, let's say, 3, and add a fill color. I would like to just add not so black while not so white. Yeah, hashtag hash 444 this color. You can use whatever you like, and I will just remove the border. Now let me just change this color to here. There's still a rectangle here, but you are not able to see that. Now I don't want the user to see the what do you say, the box area, to be honest. But whenever user is typing something or clicking on the same or trying to find a box, I want the user to actually have a feel for the box. So what we can do is actually turn this into a component. You can just select this whole group, those two rectangle things are those two rectangular containers. Press Ctrl plus G to group them, or use this right click and press group. Then you can move on to this toolbar here, and you can see this component plus icon. Just click on this plus to make this a component. Now there, this is called the default state. If you're familiar with HTML CSS, which you must be, obviously, you must know about these different states. There's a hover state, there's an active state for CSS selection. Just like that, in Adobe XD, you can have multiple states. Now, this is the default state of component. What the user will see when they press anything. Let me actually just show you that. Okay, this is the default state. Whenever user visits, they will see this. But see, nothing is changing whenever someone hovers over it. And I think that's not a good user experience for anyone, because we want our users to know that there is some container here where they can type. So what we can do is actually click this plus icon here and add a hover state. You can see this is special state in Adobe XD. I will just name it hover state, obviously. And now all those changes that I will be making to this component will be actually made in this hover state. So you can just double click this to select this individual component and add a little bit of this color, or let me just grab this color from the top. Yes. Now if you click this, now if you see this and make sure to select the default state before actually running the prototype, you can see whenever the user hovers over this, they can see this a little bit dark, like somewhat grayish box, so that they can know this is the content area and they can type here. Okay, now we can do the same with all those other stuffs. So let me just quickly copy these, make a copy of this, and just name it email address. Oh, okay, sorry, my bad. Yeah, email address, and again make a copy of this, and we can have a message here like we had before. What we have here, yeah, we have this message area here, message, and we can actually just increase the height of this container. Now remember, as I told you before, it makes the changes in this default state, but in the hover state, if you don't make any change in the hover state, you will see this effect. We don't want our user to have that effect, right? So you need to make sure that you are making the change in hover state as well. Just grab this height from here, 207, go to the hover state and make the height 207. Now again switch to this state, and you can see the changes here. Yeah, perfect. And now let's just fix this submit button. Of course, this looks way ugly. I will just increase the height a little bit so that I can get more room. Yeah, instead of actually using this submit button, will just copy this button from the top, paste it, make a copy of it, and let's add submit this. Or instead of using submit, actually a good user experience would be using send message. Let's just align that and perfect. Okay, so now we are mostly done with the contact area. But you can notice actually, like in the start, we talked about this white space thing, right? There's just so much empty area on the desktops, and it looks like it's just a new space. So what we can do is just add an SVG or like add some illustration here. One of the best places where you can find free illustrations, which I will recommend to you, is undraw.co. You can open this website and search for some illustrations. Okay, why is this not opening? Just give me a minute for me, right? Yeah, you can just search for any illustrations, and before you do that, actually just make sure that it matches with the theme color. Like for example, in this button, I use this color with this hex code 50809A. You can just copy and paste that here. So all of your illustrations will be of the same theme that you used before. Just click anyone and download for your project. I have actually created illustration already, and you can find it in the same repository folder that I asked you to download before. Move on to that. In the images, you will see this contact.svg. Drag it and paste it, just like that. Also, whenever you're resizing something like some vector-based images, which is this is a .svg, make sure to turn off this responsive resize, else it will actually cluster up everything. So yeah, this looks well placed to me now. Okay, so we are done with the Napa section, the hero section, features section, and this contact section for now. Let's just see that in action for first of all. Yes, okay, it looks good. You can already see this looks so much better than before. Actually, let me even get rid of these design guides for a better understanding. Yeah, on this left section, you can see like you can feel like this right website looks a bit more modernish. Like yeah, there's no word like modernish to be honest, but you can say more minimalistic look and much more modern look. So that's about it. And also obviously we need to fix this copyright area first of all. Let's it's not hard fix to be honest. I just want to have a minimalistic area for here for now. Also we are constrained of time, so I will just select, let's say I will just select this that we used before, this color, and obviously change the font to Montserrat or Poppins. Let me actually just reduce its size, and yeah, it works. Voila, and we are done, guys. Oh, okay. I forgot to change this font here. Yeah, this looks good. Okay, we are done, and let's have an opinion from Yashank. Yashank, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, actually, wait a minute. Let me actually add more changes. Like this area is looking so much empty. I can actually add one more button here. Let's say I add one more button about learn more or something. Clicking on this button, user will just scroll down a little bit to this section, and we want we want to focus more on this book now area. To be honest, like we want the user to whenever a user comes to our website, we want the user to first quickly click this book now button, because that's where our sales are coming from, right? So what we can do is actually give this learn more button a little less importance. Just remove this fill color from here. Now you can't see anything because the text is also white and the background is white. So I will just add this color to the text and fill the text with this color, and you can see the final design. Let's ask Ishan for his opinion. Like if he's a visitor of the website, what will you think? Ishan,
Yeah.
over to you.
So, like initially, as I told you, I was literally confused where to look at the website, and even the alignment wasn't that good. So in this, like it's totally clear. Like if I'll just look out the first page, the review section, that firstly I'm just going towards that main text, and then my main focus is on the nav bar and those buttons. And actually, those buttons look good because that has like invert colors, and that actually tell me like, yeah, book now is something more important, and you can actually learn more as well. But yeah, this is more minimalistic yet effective. So I just this looks good.
Okay,
You can just
actually,
scroll.
someone in the chat is asking me about some courses or some references for UI designs. Actually, I have not done any specific courses on UI. I just learned it from the internet, to be honest, by visiting different websites. But I can recommend you this channel, design course on YouTube. We can share the link in the charts if you want. You can actually follow him and check out his videos. I learned some of my UI techniques from him as well, so you can refer to that.
And not only that, guys, you can actually follow material theme. If you don't know, Ishan, can you just open that as well? Material designing, that website, materialdesign.io.
Yeah, sure.
So, guys, this is a really important website if you want to be a front end developer or even a mobile developer. So, actually, this website have core design, you can say rules, you can say, because this actually tell you themes about how actually people like it. This is made using the surveys and everything, so you can actually refer here about the logos, about colors, typography. And I saw someone was asking about different color palettes, color affecting moods, and you can actually use this website and you can actually get to know like which kind of app or which kind of web page should actually use what kind of color. Like if you can see that, you can see that color system. It will actually tell you how many types of system are there and how actually you use that. And this is like really important if you just want to go through it.
Yeah.
And for this, like I guess this is for the webinar. If you guys have any question, we are here, and you can actually just go through it.
Yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat.
Yeah, so Nishkosh have asked something. I know this lecture is all about UIUX, but it would be really helpful if Ishan could answer some general questions. Seeking some advice during this work point, I studied about front-end device with genetics. Just a second. So
Uh,
he's just asking. So basically, he just want to ask like how to get actually that work experience. So I'll just keep this question for the last, Ishan, so that you can just tell this at the last. So
okay.
someone is asking which plugin to use for icons.
Actually, I told you about this plugin earlier. You can use this icons for design. I use this mostly for my all of my icons. It's free. That's why you can use this icons for design. You can actually just search here and it's just search. Okay, this is the story. Click here, icons for design. Yeah, and this one. You can use this.
And guys, one more thing, like if you guys are into web development, you should know this if you want to be a front end developer. So in front end developer, there are two things. One is web development and one is web design. So basically, if you are not that good in coding or if you don't want to be do that coding and stuff, you can actually be a web designer using this UI UX tools so that you can actually help the web developers. So this is also a part of front end development, but this is something really different from actually developers. So this is also a good job, and people are getting like a highly paid job. So you can actually use this as well.
Okay, you just said something about Cortana and it fired up on my laptop. Yes, Tanish, we will share the PPT and recording once they are available to us. Don't worry. Am I audible? Yashangvia?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Also, this question from Nishkars is he's asking some general questions about advice about. Okay, you study some front end development courses. Okay. Okay, Nishkarsh, what I would recommend to you if you are new to web design and all this web development stuff is just basically just think of any idea to create. Like just work on some projects. Don't just go on like don't just go on reading on W3 schools or Mozilla developer documentation or MDN or anything like that. Actually, put all your knowledge to practice and learn something from learn something from those projects. Learn by doing actually. I when I studied web development around like it was like around 7 to 8 years ago, and when I started that, I trust me on this one. I never visited W3 schools when I wanted to learn HTML. All I did was I just searched how to create a website on Google, and I googled stuff. Then I created something, and like I made a simple page for interior design and something like that. I still remember, and to be honest, it sucked. The design was so pathetic. But yeah, that's how you begin. If you're a beginner, you can just focus on creating some new projects, and from that you can learn more things. Like this UI part is actually this UI part will be much more helpful to you once you become good enough with that web development. To be honest, okay. Yes, Charu, actually, you can use a linear gradient property in your CSS. There is a property for that. You can actually just create a new element and use Z index property to layer them out and use a linear gradient property. But still, if you would like to actually use linear gradient for this one, what you can do is go to layers and let me just select this. Select both of these and group them, and you can just export this as an asset here. So it will give you an image with a linear gradient applied on top of that. You can just use that for your hero section and it would work the same. Basically, you will need to do a lot less work on the CSS part. Okay, Nishkars, I think your talk is more related to what we had yesterday. Like, before moving on to JS frameworks, I would actually recommend you to first learn the basic fundamentals of JavaScript. Like, first of all, learn JavaScript, then learn Fetch API, then all those ES6 guidelines and all those ES6 stuff, and after that you can learn some new framework like I personally learned React first before learning Vue or Angular. I still haven't learned Vue or Angular, so you can look into that. But first, please get good with the just basic JavaScript. Like I can share my website. Let me just share that. Like I made this. Let me actually open that in Chrome. CSS hacks. Give me a second. There's a plugin going on for the dark mode. Yeah, you can see now. Let me just show. Now I'm not less like just I'm not so self-obsessed and not just trying to praise myself. But I made this website around like 6 or 7 months ago while I was learning web development. And trust me, all this website that you're watching, it's actually created with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's it. And actually, to be honest, I don't even use JavaScript that much. All This whole website is actually just created using basic HTML and CSS. No JavaScript is involved. So you can create something like that. Oops, it's under construction. I will work on that. Sorry. You can create anything that you want. Okay, free hosting website. So Priya, you can actually just use GitHub Pages for now. Actually, if you're a student, they provide you with the free plans forever for all your public repositories and private repositories. You can look into that. Yes, Bhavesh. Yes, that's the right approach. First, create a design for reference on Adobe XD, and then you can code it in HTML and CSS. Like, just move on to the coding part later on. Uh, First, create a design. But actually, on a personal recommendation, I won't suggest you to do that for every project. Once you have become much good with once you have a clear understanding of the design, what you can do is just jump right into the coding part and make the design there for your minor personal projects. This design part is actually more good if it could be more beneficial to you if you are just working in production or major projects, or if you have become so much good with JavaScript, HTML, and CSS that you are willing to take it to the next level. But for very basic websites, for just creating a simple to-do list in React or something, I want personally suggest you to first create that in Adobe XD and then create the website. Like that would be so much time consuming as a web developer. Okay, guys, if you have any more questions, you can write them now, or we will be ending this session. Actually, we are constrained with time. Let's just wait for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7. Okay, that's it from my side. And before going on, we would actually love to hear about your feedback about this session. You can use this link to give us your feedback, and please do that because otherwise that cute little kitten on the right side will get angry or might cry.
So thank you, Ishan. Thanks for this informative session. So guys, I would like to please. I would like to inform you that you can follow us on Instagram with DAC_CIET for future events, and you can fill the feedback form for now. Thank you, Ishan, for this session.
I think many of you have filled the form, and the kitty has kitty